comes the Bears punter now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. Take it at the 37. And the Raiders are in for 6. Touchdown. 63 yards on the punt return score. And the Raiders are pouring it on.
Well, it certainly feels like that kind of game, doesn't it? No matter what they do, it's going to work. That might be the absolute crusher right there. A punt return for a touchdown.
Feels like there's been a lot of crushers in this game. This lead just gets bigger. Point after, right down the middle. And that will extend this big lead. So his big play capability in full display there as he's able to return that punt for a touchdown. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Another drive coming up for this Chicago offense. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And they'll start the drive on the ground with Johnson. And, boy, this defense, again, really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Looking to throw. Moore. And he can't escape, and down he goes. It'll go as a loss of 3 on the sack, and it brings up 3rd down.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
And he's able to get this one up to his 30 before he's out of bounds. They do get 7 out of that, but not enough to prevent a 4th down. Here comes the Bears punter now, as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. That's taken on the 25. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. Excellent work on the run back there, 33 yards. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Fields on 1st down. That's complete to DK Metcalf. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. One quarter remains here in Week 16. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. One play action, Fields. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. A great play there. His 26th touchdown, drawing even with Marshall Faulk for the 4th most in a single season. And the Raiders are moving closer to a 15-0 record as they extend their lead here. Now the extra point try forthcoming. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. The long touchdown pass gets them 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. The Bears now ready to take over again. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
so well. Go to something else.
And maybe try and find one of those special plays for one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
And a dangerous throw there as that's knocked down and incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
35's the mic.
Here's Moore to throw on third down. Throw left side complete. That's Brown. And he will have the Bears first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
Well, this game was decided a while ago, and that completion there, it's going to artificially inflate his passing numbers. So right now, the only one really applauding probably his agent as he thinks about angling for a new contract.
And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield.
Well, this game is certainly pretty well over. They go ahead and mark it in the win column. But as a defense, they don't want to get so soft now that everybody just throws the ball all over the place against them, gets big yardage, and puts points on the board. They have pride, too, on that side of the ball.
Well, a nice throw here right side. He hauls it in. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and the Raiders have recovered.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. Now the Raiders offense, they get set to head back on the field. We find ourselves here in the midst of a one-sided affair. A lot of fill time down the stretch, Mr. Davis.
So we could talk about food, because that is something that you and I both enjoy.
We share that.
We enjoy our time at the table. So maybe the best steakhouses in the city, but in all seriousness, the performances that we've seen this year, we've seen a bunch of great ones, and it's going to be hard to parse who's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it going to be a runner? Is it going to be a thrower? Can a defender finally win it this season? Those are the things that we could probably discuss.
And collectively, this is about as dominant of a performance as you could have hoped for on both sides of the football.
Might have to put it number one for what we've seen this season.
Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number.
And this is caught. It's so close. He gets it to the one. Out of bounds right there. A big play there for the Raiders.
Even with the big lead here in the fourth, it still bombs away. And frankly, it's working. Why should they stop? Go ahead and keep firing away and gaining those yards.
And that's going to be caught for a Raider touchdown. A great effort there. With his second TD of the game, his sixth on the year. And the forced fumble defensively leads to 6 points for the Raiders. Now the try here for the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it winds up in 6 points for the Raiders. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. Here's the Chicago offense coming back out onto the field. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
You like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball, turning it over on the last possession. What's that word again? Symptomatic?
Yeah.
I like that.
Your analysis, symptomatic of the success of this broadcast.
What I like is that you gave me the word, and I just kept using it.
And he's brought down after a very nice gain.
That was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
And the Raiders have got him. It'll be a loss of 10. And it'll bring up second.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. And the job becomes twice as difficult now. After the sack, it's 2nd and 20. Back to throw. Moore. That's going to be caught by Moss. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle comes at the Raiders' 38-yard line. And a nice milestone reached on that last throw is here late in the season. He goes over 4,000 yards passing.
And he's really thrown the ball well all season long. Had some big games along the way. He's inspired his receiving corps to go out and make plays for him in each and every ball game. Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for 2nd down, staying ahead of schedule. So the Bears with the football here as we welcome you back. They're looking at 2nd down now as they search for a consolation score. And he's going to be taken down here. A sack back at the 32. Moore from the gun on 3rd down. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
Las Vegas' offense back out there ready to go. And they just continue to roll right along, really. This has the looks of yet another victory as they hope to polish it off here in quarter number 4. Now the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves them with 2 to go on 2nd down. With a lot of the media, Charles, ourselves included, starting to prep those MVP ballots, you wonder if last week's performance, which he admitted was not very good, if that hurt him at all coming down the stretch. Less than 50 yards on the ground in last week's game that you referenced, and let's face it, if he has another game like that, we'll erase him from the MVP discussion. He won't even be talked about anymore. He has to bounce back with 100+ in this one in order to stay in that race. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on 1st down. That one looks like he'll throw here. That's going to be caught. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Well, business as usual for them. Well on their way to another victory. Riding a serious wave of momentum from what we've seen. And so far, they haven't met their match. So if you're going to play this team in the future, your mission is clear. You better be ready to play and match their firepower. Extra point right down the middle. And the lead will swell by 1 more. Scoring summary. 3-play drive. And it ends with a Las Vegas touchdown. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And he'll just take a seat, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. Let's just be frank. They're playing for pride at this point. that's all that's left, because victory, not a chance now. And I can't wait to see how they actually go about doing it, because there are a lot of people watching the body language of the guys on the field now, and if they call plays they want executed, they need to do that and do it really well. Otherwise, there could be repercussions. We'll see how they handle the waning moments of this one. A big offensive the defensive guys put those points winning. They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow. So for Las Vegas, they are now 2 wins away from a perfect regular season as they move to 15-0. And they'll be back home next week to take on the Denver Broncos.